If you want to pump your body and expand your mind, there's only one place to go. Mind Pump. Mind Pump. With your hosts, Sal DiStefano, Adam Schaefer, and Justin Andrews.
In this upcoming episode of Mind Pump, we talk about, well, first off, Justin sings a beautiful song.
Oh my God, just wait.
Sounds just like Michael Jackson.
I wish. Don't lie.
In my opinion. We talk about our go-to dance moves. Adam's got some great insight on that.
Total secret.
And I try to talk the guys into going into a nudist colony.
Which he always does.
And then we get into fitness. We talk about high school coaches and how they train deadlifts and squats and some of the pitfalls of training young athletes. We talk about opening a gym fresh out of college. You're not going to want to miss that advice if you're a potential entrepreneur.
Hashtag don't do it.
We also talk about the decent amount of lean body mass you should have for your size. And then at the end, we talk about sugar detoxes. Also, we're going to be getting a lot of new listeners coming up now. We've been on a few podcasts, so a lot of you may be first-time Mind Pump listeners, and we talked about this amongst ourselves. And what we wanted to do is put together a starter pack or a starter
super
bundle.
Excited for this. This is like when you break down the total on this is like over $300 value worth of stuff. And if we all agreed that if we were to pick, like, okay, what programs?
What are the essentials?
Yeah, the essentials that everybody should at the bare minimum have.
Yeah, what would we do? And here's the thing: like we examined like why we do what we do, and really why we do what we do is we want to deliver excellent information and give people the tools that they can have to train themselves efficiently and effectively so they can get all the results that they want, but also do it in a way where they don't develop muscle imbalances, where they've got great movement, and they're not wasting time in the gym. They have more time on their hands to do the things that they love to do. So really just pouring all of our expertise into expert programming. And what we did is we said, look, we got all these new listeners. What would we give people to get started? Like if someone wants to get started with expert exercise programming, someone wants to come in and get more fit, get stronger, build more muscle, burn more body fat, what would we give them? And it wasn't a single program because we know new people are going to probably need a correctional component.
There's some imbalances out there.
Yeah, they're going to need a foundational component. They're going to need some help with nutrition, and they're going to need guidance along the way. So here's what we did. We've included MAPS Prime, which has a self-assessment tool, MAPS Anabolic, which is our foundational workout program. We've included the nutrition and fasting guide, so it's going to help you with nutrition. And then because you're going to need guidance along the way, especially if you're brand new, we're giving you forum access for free. And our forum is made up of over 2,000 fitness professionals, trainers, competitors, and other like-minded individuals where you can ask them questions. You can post videos of your squat and your deadlift, and where they can help you out. They can help coach you along the way. All of this, if you purchased it separately, about $348. This month, we're going to do it for $147.
More than half off.
Yeah. So it's all for all you new people.
That's ridiculous.
It's the starter pack or starter bundle. Not quite sure what we're going to name it yet, but it's going to be one of those things. You can find this at mindpumpmedia.com.
You are not alone. I am here with you. Though you're far away. I don't know the rest of the song.
That was it was about to inspire me, but then
Who
was
was that? I know that.
Michael Jackson.
It's Michael, dude.
What's wrong with you?
That wasn't very Michael-esque. I feel like
what are you talking about?
Yeah, I think you need to get higher and grab your crotch. Yeah.
Whoa.
If you would have done that, I would have got it right away.
Did he did his spirit just go inside you there?
Yeah, a little bit.
When you did
I had a little bit of the Jesus juice.
Isn't there rules for you guys? Like there's certain people that you're never supposed to try and right?
Dude, you know what? It's funny.
And Michael's one of them, right?
Well, he was trying to challenge me to come up with a different song, and so what I was doing was what I made the mistake when I went one time. I went to go do karaoke, and I tried to sing a Michael Jackson song, and it was like so bad. Like it was the worst.
You sang bad?
Oh, horribly.
Well, one of the most talented, humans
He's just like,
to ever walk the face of the earth. You just don't. It's like that's not one I want.
Yeah, like you don't do him.
And he dances. You know what I mean? And like he's entertaining as hell, and he's got that. Yeah, you know. Like, I just don't have it. You know?
It just explodes out of you though a little bit.
Sometimes.
Are you a big fan?
I'm a huge fan of Michael Jackson.
Really?
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Did you ever? I never watched him live.
Did you like
he's
him
one of
with-
those ones that I wish that I wouldn't saw. And there was several
Would've
times
been epic.
where I was like, oh, you know what? He's coming nearby. I should go get this and that. I'm like, he'll be around another time.
I was never a huge fan. I liked Michael Jackson. No, never.
Wow,
Dude.
I could sense the creepiness.
Sometimes
I think a little less of you now.
No, it's I could sense that he's a creepy guy.
Oh man, all famous.
you couldn't.
You could.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
No.
How could you not sense the creepiness? The guy's fucking weird. He had a monkey named Bubbles.
Yeah. That's all.
He made his own playground.
You're like Captain TMZ over here.
And
the tabloid. Yeah,
I liked his music.
It's real life.
I liked his music when it was like Motown funk a little bit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When it was like,
We need to jack up his nose.
You know what I'm talking about?
He was way better when he did
I've
jack
liked
up his
everything
nose.
he's done because I feel like him and his sister both have evolved their music with time. That's what has made them so timeless and awesome, is that they're one of those bands. Aerosmith did a good job of doing this also. Like there's some bands and some people that are just so talented that even though they have a sound to the way they sing or whatever, or their band, if they've been around for 20, 30 years.
Usher tries really hard to sound like him.
Usher.
Not even close.
No.
Yeah.
He dances like him though. I'll give him
He
that.
does.
He does a good
awesome
job.
with that.
Yeah, no,
I think what's his name? What's the other guy? Bruno Mars is very talented.
He is.
Very
I
talented.
wish like he sung
Yeah,
more
I've seen
songs
him
like
live.
Michael. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did that one with the Uptown Funk or whatever.
That was so good.
It was just great.
He just came
That's
through
the only
again.
song I like of his.
Yeah.
It's not even his. It's like it's the band that
little
plays
guy.
behind him.
Bruno Mars is a little guy.
He's a little guy.
Like how tall?
Like real little.
Really?
Yeah, like
He's Filipino, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Or Hawaiian. He's got
I don't know.
Yeah, he's got the Hawaiian.
Wasn't he a
Filipino-
Michael Jackson impersonator back in the day
Was he?
when he was a little kid?
That
I
would
could
make
see
sense.
It. Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I might be making that up.
Yeah.
You
We're
could be.
all talking out of our ass.
He's talented. He was talented. He was a decent show. I wasn't impressed. It wasn't.
Oh,
like
you saw him?
Yeah, no, I've seen him at least once. I might have seen him twice.
You guys have seen a lot of concerts. I've seen very few.
Yeah, I've seen
You want to know the concerts
What's
I've
your
seen?
favorite one?
So I've never gone to a concert. Actually, one. I went to one concert voluntarily. The rest of them were all I was
You were
forced.
drugged too.
Yeah. So as a kid, my first concert ever, my parents drugged me to Yanni.
No, they did
Yes,
not,
dude.
dude.
Do you guys remember Yanni?
Wow.
I don't.
Yanni,
come on.
There was no vocals. It was all synthesizers.
Oh wow.
And he was this Greek dude with like
You've probably heard it in an elevator.
curly, kind of greasy looking
You know what I
hair, and he'd get all fucking into it, man. He blah, 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 he played the keyboard.
He's
and he'd
talented, but
get crazy.
Like, come on.
and so check this out. So we went to the concert. I was like,
That's
12.
almost bad as like Michael Bolton.
Dude. I was
Was that like your follow-up concert?
so you know how you ever seen your parents dance? How embarrassing that is.
Oh my God. Ugh.
Yeah. So I'm 12. Me and my cousin went because our parents pulled us. And this guy's playing the synthesizers like crazy. Yeah. And like my uncle and my aunt, my mom and my dad, they're like, God damn, it's so good. Oh my God. And they all start kind of like dancing.
Swing and throwing their hands all weird.
And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm
Bunch
totally
of
going to.
awkward white people just,
Yeah, I'm going to kill myself right now.
What was the move before the fist pump? What would you do when that happens? Like music overwhelms you with emotion.
It's a lot of shoulders. It's like this. It's like,
Is
that what it is? You
sound
like
too?
kind of lean back.
Well, that's a good
You let it
question.
hit you.
right. Like
That's a good question. What's your go-to, like, if like you're really driven to? There's Yanni right there. Look at the picture.
Oh, he's handsome.
Man.
He's
Look at
handsome-ish.
He's got an
He's
incredible,
got a little stash.
incredible
in the-
stat. If
Yeah.
I had hair, I'd grow it like that
Yeah.
for sure.
Damn, it's too bad you don't. Maybe too much, actually. So imagine. So what's this? Here, real quick. What is your go-to? Like you're just, and I'm not talking about your dance move or like, oh, I got to dance. My wife's making me dance, whatever. Like the music, literally, you're like, I got to fucking dance right now. Like, what's your move?
I just shift, man.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I shift left to right.
You could actually, you've got moves though. I've seen you
Yeah.
dance.
But the problem is like it turns into like I pretend to be like Michael Jackson and then it gets really bad.
Really?
Yeah, because like we're on different rhythms. Me and my wife always. She does a lot of like bouncy stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm just like more of a shifty, left to right kind of a move. And
Yeah.
so it's like sometimes it syncs up and it's like, yeah, that song was awesome. And then the next one we're just like fucking hitting each other and it just doesn't work.
What about Adam? What's your move?
Well,
like your move, like the music's hitting.
I like
you,
to. I like
you gotta
to.
move.
I like to think that I can feel the music, but if I got to, and I'm not sure, all else fails, you jump.
You jump. It just doesn't matter, right?
You just jump to the music, bro. It's okay.
Big ass Adam jumping on the dance.
The whole fucking floor shakes. Everybody jumps.
Jump around. You know what I'm saying? Like if worst case scenario, if I can't quite get the beat right, I can't feel my groove, which I like to think I can do that with most music, then all else fails, just start jumping.
See, for me, one of the reasons why I like techno or electronic music is because you could just nobody really you don't have to dance
because you can't miss a beat. It's so fast.
That's techno. I don't know what you were doing, Adam.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You were doing something weird there.
Justin is obviously way better with sound effects than I am, but you got the point. It was fast. It's
you did
fast.
Mariachi.
No, that's no. I feel like that's
it's
like
techno mariachi.
That's like a silent film music that you just did. You know what I'm saying?
That's like the villain coming out from the woods. Like
the point is that it's lots of beats really fast, and you can't really be off beat, so it's perfect for white people.
So my ex used to tell me that I look like I'm boxing because I do this thing with my hands, and she's like, "Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?"
Shadow box. That's not.
Left.
That's a good go-to
Left.
move.
Whatever,
Right.
dude.
All us fellas do the shadow box.
And then when I was younger, and if I was dancing with a girl, I was just like, I'm just gonna grind because I'm gonna get something out of this.
Yeah.
My dancing is horrible, but I'm gonna get close.
Yeah, that's the
Body
go-to.
contact.
Music slows down, right? Music slows down, and you just start thrusting your hips.
Oh no, I'd grind for everything. Fast music, slow music.
I grind my way to the end.
To house.
Yeah.
I could just see
You know,
Angry grinds.
have an accident. Oh, I grinded too much. But
Sorry, honey, I'm done.
I really dislike dancing. I'm just not.
Can't last very
I'm not
long.
a big fan of it.
Hey, your girl last weekend went to the place that Refuge. How'd she like it?
She loved it.
Did she?
Yeah, she thought it was really awesome.
Sounds like a nightclub.
Yeah, she goes to
place?
nightclubs by herself, and she finds people to bring home for it. No, it's the spa that Adam went to.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah,
With
one
the
that was
cold dip and the
outdoor
hot
cold
dip.
I'm gonna.
I want to go to this, by the way.
Well, because it's co-ed and it's not like your normal foo-foo spa. I was impressed, man.
I'm
not a foo-foo spa guy. As much as I do the toes and I like all that stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting.
No,
You say that.
Yeah, it's a very cool vibe. I would go with the three of us.
Just three guys.
Yeah, I would go. I would just
To the spa?
Let's spa, everybody.
I know it sounds off, right?
No,
a little
it's
bit,
all
but
right. I'm down. Actually.
Can we get like a group massage?
Whoa.
Well, the massage.
Am I going too far now?
The massage part of it is the part that
work?
was kind of like meh. What's awesome is the steam room, the sauna, the hot and cold plunges, like all the pools, because they have all these separate pools for like you want freezing cold, or do you want like kind of cold, or do you want just like lukewarm? And then you have like hot, and then super hot, and then you have the saunas and the steam rooms.
So
there's levels.
And
I
like
think we should do
fires and like.
I think we should do that. And you know what else I just learned about the other day? Did you guys know that there's I don't know if it's a nudist colony, but it's like
I'm listening.
It's in the Santa Cruz Mountains. I can't remember the name of it. Doug knows. You just shake your head, Doug.
I've heard of it.
Oh, he's heard of it.
I've heard of it.
What's the name? Does anybody know the name?
I'll look it up.
Okay.
Justin, you should.
I know what all the nudist beaches are. That's all.
Well, it's like I guess it's
which,
like
by the way, are never.
They're not
Never.
what you hope for.
Have you ever been to a nude or topless place
It's just
that's
a bunch
actually
of-
like, wow, this is awesome
just
scenery?
a bunch of meat. You know what I
I'm
mean?
not going to check people out. I'm going to be free. Adam.
Oh my god!
I wanna be
What
free.
a fucking hippie answer right there. Like, oh, not me. I'm going to check out all the tits that are running around.
Are you really?
Yeah, absolutely. If
No,
I'm
no one's gonna let you in their nudist colony
No.
now. You just let everybody know you.
Well, this is just between us right now. You know, I'm not going to tell anybody else.
Nobody's
I'm not going to tell any
gonna
owners. That's what my like a
No,
a perv.
I think we should go to a nudist colony or a nudist beach or something like that because it's good to shed your clothes and be free sometimes.
That is such a hippie.
You know what I'm saying?
Right there.
Oh, there it
Can we
is.
hold hands?
Lupin Los Gatos.
Lupin. I'm
It's
fucking down, dude. That'd be so fun.
I feel like none of these like naked people work out. You know?
Yeah, I feel the same
They're
way.
just like flat asses. And
No.
Who cares?
There's
I'm so free. You know, like why? You should probably work out.
If I want to be just naked like that, I'll just go get naked in my own backyard. If I just want to be free and
Yeah,
naked.
but it's not the same when you're not around a bunch of people. That's the freeing part.
How do you get the free thinkers to lift? You
What do you mean?
I feel like there needs to be a program for these hippies.
There might be some fit people. You don't know. You have no. Well, according to that picture, it doesn't look like
Look
it.
at that.
There might be one.
Come on, that's just one. Okay,
There's a few.
there's like
There's
one.
a few booties. Yeah.
There's one in there.
Yeah. See. 5 reasons.
That's like a bachelorette.
Thanks, Doug.
That's like a bachelorette party. They just happen to get there one time out of the.
Yeah, right. That's like the advertisement.
Right. Of course, they're like, this is the first time we've ever had 4.
Okay, ladies, stand right here. We're gonna sell this really hard.
Is that guy doing a nude plank on those other 2 dudes?
That's a little more accurate right there.
Yeah,
that one is the accuracy.
This does seem like a place you would go to though, Sal.
You know,
I feel like there'd be a lot more hair.
That's a lot of good looking butts.
Because every time I've been to a nudist beach, there's a lot of hair.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of.
So wow, what are they doing? They're balancing someone naked.
Oh my God.
So here's the thing. See the hiking? You know what doesn't look good though?
Like,
this is the part that doesn't look good when you're naked, but then you have shoes and socks on. So they go hiking and they have hiking boots,
Birkenstocks,
and then they're naked, and that doesn't look right.
Well, and
I think if you're gonna be naked, it'd be naked.
And it also defeats this whole purpose of being like free and grounded. You know, then you throw your high tech boots on, and your wankers hanging out, but then you got your high tech boots on.
You know what I would do?
Like, how hippie and grounded are you really? If
you know what we should do? We should go to this Lupin Lodge. We should go there and just wear a t-shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, just come in, just the bottom half off.
Just be naked from the bottom down.
I told you guys that already.
But have a shirt that's just long
enough. I want to wear
enough.
socks and shoes.
I walk around my house like this all the time.
No pants, no underwear.
Just t-shirt?
Just t-shirt.
Is it long enough to cover things a little bit?
My junk is hanging out.
Is it really?
Well, you got long shirts these days.
Yeah, well, those I don't wear those ones.
Yeah.
So
I wear my midriffs.
So it looks like it looks like Adam's in a nightgown.
So you see Happy Trail in business. That's what she gets.
That's great. In business.
That's what you get. So I'm a Happy Trail to my business, honey.
Yeah.
My girl likes it, man.
Well, I don't know.
She digs it.
She likes you with the shirt on and nothing else.
We're into weird stuff.
That's weird.
It is different. I like it when she just wears socks around the house. That's
so what I'm thinking is, if the fans want us to go to that, they should let us know, and we should do it if they want us to go.
You think
just
that's
going to put the pressure on you guys a little bit.
What does that say, Doug, about incomes? 20 to 30K, 13 under 10?
Oh, they're just showing
the demographics.
It looks like the most people, the majority of the people that
these
go
are the nakeds.
are between the ages of 36 to 55. So there you go. Not too many 66 to 80-year-olds, Adam. I'm sorry about that.
Not in your wheelhouse. Yeah, sorry.
Totally in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
You're
Easy,
not gonna...
dude. Soccer moms are my wheelhouse. That's 40,
you like
40 to 50, dude.
Oh, I thought it was the
age. A little light on the 18s for you, Sal. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry about that.
The ages move up though as you get older, though, Adam. So what was considered older for you back then?
No, that's the difference between you and I. Like mine still say normal. I'm getting closer to my soccer mom age, and so we have more to talk about.
So when you're in your 60s, you're going to be into the younger ones then?
You're getting well, yeah, technically. Yeah. So I will be into.
You'll be into.
He likes the ones with.
I'm just going to stay in that. I'm just going to stay in that wheelhouse no matter how old I get. Where you, on the other hand, are creating a major gap.
What are you talking about?
Your wheelhouse.
No, what are you talking about? My girlfriend's not that much younger.
Soon, your wheelhouse could be. Is that your daughter or is that
no
somebody you're into?
That's not happening. That's not happening. But I think we should go to Lupin. I'm down. I just want to see Justin naked.
Doug, I know you do. That's why it's so awkward.
Yeah. Doug, can we please help some of these fitness people out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Another way to get me naked.
Summon the bird.
The eagle has landed.
Chimera Quaff! Today's Quaff is being brought to you by Chimera Coffee. It's the only coffee that is infused with all natural nootropics for a cleaner, calmer, and more focused buzz without the crash. Click the Chimera link at mindpumpmedia.com and input the discount code MINDPUMP at checkout for 10% off.
It's the motherfucking Quaff.
The eagle has landed.
All right, our first question is from Adrian Morales Jr. Y'all been talking about imbalances with people working out with squats and deadlifts. What do y'all think about high school coaches using those lifts when it comes to strength training? Would those exercises done wrong have long-term detrimental effects?
So to answer the last part
How
of the question,
y'all think about that?
Yeah. So
well, you can't answer this. You didn't play sports, so you just sit this one out.
What are you talking about? He's talking about deadlifts and squats.
Yeah, it's sports in high school though. Coach that's teaching this.
So
you can't.
It's exercises.
So you can't answer. You definitely can't be the first one to answer.
It's
this
young
is either
kids.
Justin or me who answers this first.
Right.
Then you can put.
Then they're
your
gonna have to wait to get the right answer at the end.
So I had a terrible coach. So I think that's what matters more than anything else. So I do know that there's some private schools and there's some high schools in our area now that have some legitimate high school coaches that are teaching good technique and good movements. And if that's the case, I think it's an excellent place to start at a young age working on the mechanics, lightweight, working on the mechanics and just doing the repetitions. Now, that being said, I did not have that. I had a coach, a basketball coach, that was telling us to lift. He was telling us to do calf raises all day long for basketball, because to increase our vertical, and wear strength shoes.
Like the strength shoes,
Yeah, so I'm wearing strength shoes and I'm doing calf raises all day, wondering why my vertical isn't going up because I don't know how to squat. It really depends on who you get, right? I think and then knowing that, like, if your coach is sitting there and he is really breaking down the mechanics and paying a close attention to the detail to your form and technique.
Which, I mean, the concern there is like that is not like the majority, right? So this is something that is an issue that is worth talking about, because when you're going through high school and you're going through these sports programs, a lot of these coaches they'll take programs from colleges, or they'll take you through like a program that they'll find online, I guess, these days, and kind of run you through it. But everybody just kind of doing squats in groups, and no real nobody there to kind of articulate all those different points to look out for and to show you like proper form and how to accomplish. It's a really skilled move. So if they don't treat it as such, there's a lot of long-term damage that can occur.
Especially at that age, right?
Yeah.
At that age, you're really developing that connection and that pathway, and you don't want to start. It's kind of like that, what they'll tell you, like if you start golfing, right? People will know, someone who's like a professional golfer will always suggest to somebody who's wanting to get into golf to like take lessons first.
Yeah.
Like, go get a pro, spend the money to have someone.
And I think that's the point really to drive home is to make sure that you educate yourself, and to make sure that you know these lifts, or you go seek out like a personal trainer, or you go get some information yourself to make sure that when you're going through these mechanics and going through these lifts that, require a lot of skill, like you're very versed in this. And then hopefully you have a good coach that will reiterate these points. But, it's crucial that you get the education for yourself to improve upon. But
the short answer for the end of this question was, would those exercises done wrong have long-term detrimental effects? Yes, of course. Any exercise done consistently in a wrong fashion is going to create poor recruitment patterns and cause problems later on. But here's something interesting to think about. High school coaches have done strength training with these young athletes and have gotten away with it because they're dealing with young athletes, and younger kids can get away with things and can improve in spite of the fact that they're being trained wrong. Now, that being said, here's something to kind of ponder over. Kids today present muscle imbalances and recruitment patterns that are a lot worse than kids of yesterday, because kids just aren't
less active. Yeah,
I see forward head and rounded shoulders, and bad posterior pelvic tilts and anterior pelvic tilts and all these deviations now in kids. And I mean, you never saw those kind of forward head in particular. I've trained some young kids relatively recently, and they'll come in. You're talking about a 15-year-old kid, and they've got forward head like you would find on 80-year-olds.
Sit in those fucking video games for 10 hours at a time.
They're just not active like they used to. They're not playing like kids used to. So then they go play sports, or they're going to go lift weights, and the coach is trying to have them do certain things. And luckily there's a little self-selection, because kids who play high school sports probably played sports growing up, but a larger percentage of them today are maybe doing it for the first time, and they're doing squats and deadlifts, and they've just got all these poor recruitment patterns because they haven't been active like they were before. So coaches need to be more educated. And for the vast majority of high school coaches I've run into are not very good at training the basic movements.
Well, the problem I see too, and Justin, I'm sure you remember this, especially with football, is you get this competitive nature amongst the kids too, where it turns like, and I remember in my high school,
it's the numbers you can produce.
Yes, it was the 500 club, right? Who could bench, squat, and deadlift X amount to be over 500 pounds. And so the kids become so motivated on how much weight they can lift versus how well they can lift the weight.
Right.
And at that age, it is so more crucial that they focus on the technique of the movement and the lift than it is how much weight. Just like going back to the golf reference, that if you're just learning how to golf, you should not be like focusing on, you're trying to break drive records. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to hit the ball 300 something yards. Like, no, you're just trying to make good contact with the ball and work on your swing. That will come later down the road, just like your mechanics in a compound lift, like a deadlift or a squat, overhead press, bench press, all these really technical movements. It should be about how well can I perfect this movement and how well can I control this weight, especially at that age, because you're really laying the foundation on how you're going to do this movement over the next 10, 20, 30 years.
Well, and these
of lifting.
compound lifts are so crucial because it's the baseline of strength that you're going to pull from in all, and it translates very well. In a lot of these explosive type movements and, getting that kind of ground force that you need to generate. So I understand why, coaches tend to add in like these compound lifts and then also like even sometimes power lifts to get, these kid athletes to respond and get that kind of power and force that they can generate on command. But it just really you just have to, like Adam was saying, you have to be conscious of not overloading your body just to produce numbers and be competitive with that, which is really hard for kids to grab onto that concept.
Well, here's what
they're so just thrown into the competitive nature of it.
And what kids understand is, I'm going to lift more, so I'm going to be more effective at football.
Right.
The reality is control is what's going to make you more effective, not necessarily just, how much weight you can lift. And here's an example. It's like you got this, 17-year-old kid who can lift a lot of weights, got a lot of strength, and then he goes and wrestles his, 45-year-old dad, who's not as strong, but his dad kicks his ass because his dad has been in his body for longer and has better control. And, there's a joke, right, where what do they call it? Old man strength?
Yeah.
You can have all the power in the world, but if the tires aren't connecting to the pavement, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So your strength in the gym is going to be less translatable to the field if you don't have good control. Somebody who can do a good controlled 200-pound squat is going to have more effective ability on the field than some kid who does a sloppy, out of control, knees moving around 250-pound squat. Even that 50-pound difference isn't going to make up for his lack of control.
Well,
and I'm not just talking about injury. Of course, you're also reducing injury with that, but besides that, you're reducing your effectiveness.
This is why we all agree, and God, I wish I knew what I know now, training as an athlete as a kid back in the days, because as crazy as it sounds, and I would have never desired doing this as a kid, I would have put myself in gymnastics. If I could go back, I would have started in gymnastics, learned body awareness and control that first, and then moved myself into powerlifting and then Olympic lifting. Because I think if I would have laid a foundation like that, who knows where I'd be.
I'll tell you what, if you're a high school coach or a high school student, one of the best investments you can make, honestly, is to follow excellent programming, MAPS Prime and MAPS Performance. If I was a high school coach right now, I would get those two programs and I would just use them on all the students so they could follow the right kind of programming, exercising, and priming would make a huge difference in their performance.
And then add in, like, with the skills training, like, so as you're building and you're changing your body and the recruitment patterns, like now making sure that you're also, like, incorporating these skills. So now you can see how as your body changes, like I can still kind of keep in tune with my skill and make sure that I'm keeping that sharp. So
that's a good point, because if you gain 10 pounds of muscle and you're much stronger, but you haven't been practicing your skill, you actually become more you lose coordination.
I went through this. I went through this as a lot of times, like, as you change positions or your coach kind of shifts you around and wants to bulk you up or add weight, it becomes essential to make sure that your body moves the way that you desire it to move while you're focused on adding mass at the same time.
Next question is from Christopher Jones, IRL. If you were fresh out of college with no money, how would you go about opening your own gym?
I wouldn't open a gym, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you want to buy a house and you got no money.
So people who love to work out, love the iron, love the gym. I was one of those. I was a young kid, 14, and ever since I was 14, like, my dream was to own a gym. But it wasn't because I wanted to be a millionaire. It was because I loved the gym. And that's the attitude. If you think you're going to open a gym and it's going to make you super successful monetarily, the odds are pretty small. Gyms typically don't make much money, and there's very few exceptions to that. So that's number one.
Do you guys see how popular that is right now? I don't know how much. I know you guys aren't. I follow more of these guys, right, that are these fitness Instagram celebrities, and this is kind of the transition they all do. They all build their social media,
harness all that and put it into a gym,
and then they leverage it, and then they get themselves a gym, which I think is so crazy to me because it's the opposite of what I would do. I would actually build that to work my way away from doing a brick and mortar business because we know how challenging that is to make a lot of revenue. Like you said, that matters a lot, right? If all you care about is saying, hey, I have a space, it's neat to come into our facility and be able to train whenever we want to and do whatever we want to. In fact, I trained naked in here the other day when nobody was here because I could do. Yeah,
we have cameras.
Which bar did you do that?
Yeah, I did that.
Did you use the bench?
I always sit in Sal's chair whenever I do that. Just to
I was like, why does it smell in my chair?
Yeah. So, I mean, those things, that's cool, but
cheesy in here.
The overhead of a facility like this is ridiculous. And to produce the amount of money to pay that off is crazy. And then to try and grow it to make 6 figures or more, there's a lot of hustle and grind. And then you just run out of hours in the day. And I don't care if you're charging top dollar. You'll see if you do the math, how many clients per hour you have to train.
When I owned my facility, it was a small wellness / personal training studio. It would have been a lot easier to be a trainer renting space in there than to be the owner to make money.
Right.
Way more freedom, could have made way more money. I hadn't have to worry about much stuff. So again, if you're in it for money and you want, there's certain lifestyle you want to have and it requires a certain amount of money, going into a gym or buying a gym, probably not the best idea. Now, if you want to own a gym because you love gyms, you love
just
fitness,
want to live there and be there,
and you want to be in there because you do work a lot of hours in a gym. Bottom line, it's like owning a restaurant; like you're there all the time.
You have to be there.
Then go for it. Now, the way you go about it, first of all, if you don't have any money, I don't suggest you open any business. You need a little bit of money to do so. If you're going to leverage something to get money to start a business, might want to choose another business has a higher chance of succeeding, because if you go in there with a bunch of debt, which you probably already have because you're out of college, so you've got debt from college, now you're going to get more debt because you have no money because you want to open a gym, you're in for about 5 years of not making money.
Let's talk about the experience, because I've had a friend that I kind of helped go through the process of getting certified and really wanted to become a trainer. And then his first inclination was, well, I'm going to open this gym. I have this great concept in my head that would be awesome. And I'm like, you haven't even really trained people yet. Like, you haven't got all that time under your belt. You don't know the timing of when a client shows up, how to run them through the program, like what the retention is there, like how to market myself properly, what kind of forms do I need, the insurance, all these things can be accomplished as a personal trainer, as an independent personal trainer, if you need to go that route. Even there's levels to this. So to say that and I'm judging just based off of maybe they do have this experience already, but as far as if they don't and they're just coming out of college and they haven't put that kind of time in already as a personal trainer, I would definitely caution and say, hey, I on my opinion, you should go, immerse yourself into the gym setting, learn the business, go through the process, be the small man on the totem pole, work your way to the very top. Then the next step, replicate that on your own as an individual. Learn how to find clients. Mm-hmm. Where do you get clients? How do you drum up the business of that? And then if you're just amazing at that, now we can talk about.
That's a great point, because
that's incredible advice.
Yeah, that's a great
and this
point.
is the exact advice that I gave to so many of my trainers that work for me, and I don't know how many of them that I just kind of shook my head. And I was always supportive of anybody who ever worked for me and wanted to see the best for all of them. But inside, I knew that they would go off and they would fail, because They were working for one of the largest fitness companies in the world. They had all the resources at their disposal. They had over 2,000 people walking in their gym every single day because the company was spending $25 million a year, something ridiculous like that, to advertise. So to build your business in a facility like that is like a wet dream. It's the easiest thing in the world for a fitness trainer. So if you can't prove to yourself to be in the top 10 percentile of that group of trainers working in that facility, you're fooling yourself to think that you're going to go off and start your own business, because it's 100 times harder than that. So I think Justin's advice is brilliant, is go somewhere where you have a secure hourly wage that they're going to pay you, and they have clients that they can feed you right away. Use the leverage from that company, even though you're not making top dollar, you're not being able to charge $150 an hour, whatever it is you want to charge a trainer, and you prove to yourself that you can work your way up to being the top trainer in that facility. You can build that type of reputation. Now you've kind of proven to yourself that you are that good. You could take some of those people and then start your business outside of that. Now, this is one way, and this is what I've told trainers for 10 plus years of my career. Now, where we're at now, and if you just came out of college, you don't feel like working for a gym with that, I would actually, I'm so fascinated with the social media world and the ability to connect to people virtually and what we can do. What I did with I could have used this to do just what you're doing right now, the business that we currently built. So when I turned on my Instagram, it was for the purpose of building a fitness business around it. I had no intention to connect to people and date girls off of it. It was, I'm starting this thing to build a business because I had met other people that have built a social media following and have made 6 figures plus from an Instagram or a Facebook. So that motivated me to do this. Now, you could do this as a trainer where and I'll tell you, I used my fat to fit journey. So I documented my fat to fit journey. I would be posting pictures of my transformation, the progress of that on Instagram, and I would share with people what I was doing and all the knowledge that I had obtained over the 15 years of my career. I would share that. And a lot of that was counter to the current culture that's around fitness right now and how to get in shape. So I knew that I would be polarizing for a lot of people in the fitness industry. So I gained some attention from that. And when you watch somebody who was at 20% body fat and you saw me drop all the way down to 2% and get on stage and compete, I knew I would gain a lot of traction. From there, naturally, people were asking me tons of questions and wanted information. So this is where I transitioned into my virtual coaching business. So from there, I built a website. And then I paid somebody to do it all automated. So literally I would just get an email sent over to me where there's a questionnaire that people filled out. And I started off, I believe I started with like, I want to say $175 or $200 a month. And I eventually worked all the way up to where I was charging $500 a month for somebody to do coaching with me virtually. And that would be a great way to build capital and build a clientele that would then allow you to leverage over into a brick and mortar if that's really where you want to go.
I tell you what, if you do the math, if you really figure this out, right? Because back when I opened a gym, social media was non-existent. Do the math, right? If it costs, let's say it costs you on average, I don't know, $70,000 to $150,000 to open up a gym, which is probably going to be the average, right? Wouldn't you guys agree? About $70,000 to $150,000, a small facility.
Yeah, I was going to say on the low end for sure.
Yeah, a small one. Imagine if you took half of that, $30,000, and spent the same amount of time and energy and that much money on building a social media business. How much more payoff you would get. You wouldn't have an overhead.
Totally.
You wouldn't have rent. You wouldn't have to worry about all these trainers working for you. You probably would make a nice dent into the market. You don't need to be like the number one Instagram anything. You just need somewhat of a following, and you'd make more money and have more freedom to do so. And the second thing is just kind of along the lines of what these guys are saying is running a gym. Nothing will teach you how to run a gym like working in a gym for years. There's no school that you could do. There's no business school. There's nothing you can do that's going to prepare you for that. So if you come out of college and you're like, I love gyms, I want to just open a gym, you're totally going in blind. You have no idea what's going on and what goes into it. So definitely 100% will increase your odds dramatically of success if you work in a gym and succeed in a gym before you go open your first gym.
And I cannot caution you enough that this model, in my opinion, is a dying model. The brick and mortar, 3,000 to 15,000 square feet, either private training that you have trainer or a membership-based gym is a dying model. Where technology is going, where group classes, CrossFit, Orange Theory mentality, where you have this very, very small 2,000 to 3,000 square foot location, people pay a membership, there's group
That's the
classes.
way to do it.
That is the model currently that's very successful. So just know you're going to be competing against that directly. But even further along than that, which is why we've moved completely over into the social and virtual world. Everything else is this way. Fitness is just taking a while to get there because fitness is such a personal business.
Well, you open up a 10,000 square foot gym, which is small, and you want to charge memberships, and you're competing with 30-something thousand square foot 24-hour fitnesses and LA fitnesses and Golds, all within 5 miles, who are bigger, have more equipment, and charge less than you.
Yeah.
They all charge less
and
than you.
open longer hours.
Open longer.
Yeah.
I mean,
more amenities.
I mean, it's going to be very difficult. And yes, there's definitely going to be people who want a smaller feel and a better atmosphere, but not enough.
Yeah, not enough
to make the kind of money you want. And people will not drive more than 5 miles from their home to a gym, typically, or to work.
Not only have all of us done this already personally, but we also still have friends that are in the field and continue this hustle and grind. And it's a hustle, man.
Oh, I did it for 12 years.
Yeah,
dude.
I think that this is part of the issue I have with all the bullshit on social media is they over glamorize all this shit. They make it sound like it's just this awesome. Oh, it's so awesome. I have my facility. It's so great. It's my place. And it's like, okay, yeah, but your overhead is, $6,000 to $10,000 a month. You got to be working 10 to 12 hours every single day, 6 days a week, just to be able to break even. And it's not really scalable if you're somebody who has big goals financially.
How do you scale that when it's you that's running the place?
Yeah.
Very difficult. I ran into that myself.
I know we just totally fucking scared this kid.
We always do that.
I know you went to college for 4 years and this was your idea, but we just fucked that all off for you. I don't want to be that guy for you, but you need to be thinking, if you're going to be really successful in what you're doing, you need to be thinking 3 to 5 steps ahead of where everybody else is currently at. And just because you see, who just Bradley.
Well, it's like any other business.
Bradley Martin, The Lost Breed. Who else did I just see recently? These are all Instagram famous kids or whatever that have now transitioned their huge following into opening a gym. And I sit there and I just kind of shake my head because I'm like, man, that's
like why?
Yeah, why?
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
It's
for
self-serving.
little return.
Yeah, it's just self-serving. I think it's a lot like any other business. I mean, you need to know the ins and outs, and you need to do the time and due diligence to really investigate, the process and all the, everything that goes into that. So that's just why we caution.
Quick interruption by our sponsors. You guys, lots of people have been asking us how they can support the Mind Pump Mafia family. Our first one is our Chimera coffee that we love. You guys go to chimeracoffee.com. That's Chimera with a K for 10% off. Don't forget Mind Pump at the checkout. We also have our BigTopBeardCompany.com for 33% off. Also, Mind Pump at the checkout. Also, Brain FM. We talk so much about this for sleep and meditation. It's brain.fm for 20% off. Also, Mind Pump at the checkout. You guys, we also talk a lot about books on here all the time. We're using that Audible. You guys can get a free trial, 30-day trial, plus one free audiobook if you go to audibletrial.com/mindpump. And then last, we get lots of people asking about Ben Greenfield's CBD supplement, so we hit him up to hook you guys up. You go to getnaturedblend.com/mindpump for that discount.
Next up is Devin Shredderson. How do you know if you have a decent amount of lean body mass for your size?
You know what I like about this question is that it highlights some of the issues that people have with exercise. So number one, there's definitely an essential, and I'll tell you, there's definitely an essential amount of muscle and strength that you need. So if you can move with good mobility control and you can do what you want to do and you're not hurting yourself and you're not exhausted all the time, you have the amount of muscle that you need. Now, when people ask this question, how do you know if you have a decent amount of lean body mass? Well, who are you comparing yourself to?
Right.
I mean, do you like the amount of muscle you have? Then you're good. Then there's your decent amount. If you want more, then build more. I mean, one of the big issues we run into with fitness is we compare ourselves to other people, and we ask questions like, is this a good strength that I'm at? Or am I lean enough, or am I muscular enough? And you end up comparing yourself to the freaks of the world who build lots of muscle and burn lots of body fat, or maybe Photoshop every picture. Yeah. And this is a path. This is a path of unhappiness. It's a path of insecurities, and it will drive you to train yourself and eat in a way that is not beneficial to your mental, emotional, and physical health.
Right.
So when you find yourself asking questions like this, you need to ask yourself, like, what am I looking to do? Who am I comparing myself to? Because there's only one you.
Right.
And that's
you're the only one you should ask this to.
That's it.
You shouldn't ask it to us.
I also think that maybe the question's not worded ideally. Like I think strength for your size is a better question, because I think that there's better markers for that as far as, how much strength should I have for my size. I think that's comparing, like, strength as compared to what? Well, it is and it isn't. I think you should be able to squat your body weight.
But that's compared to what? Like
yourself, your body weight.
But that's my point. Like, let's say you just want longevity, good mobility, you like to hike.
Yeah, but okay.
Maybe you don't squat your body weight, but you've got all those abilities.
I know that we love to go as deep as possible on every question, but sometimes it's a basic question with a basic answer, and I think wording it lean body mass that's super objective. That is having to compare yourself, but strength to your size, there is a decent ratio of squatting, overhead pressing, and I wish I remember what the formula was for each one of those.
I know what the formula is to consider yourself gym strong.
Yeah.
But and the number is, like, if you could deadlift twice your weight, you've got the gym strength. If you could 3 times your weight, you're really strong, right? If you could squat twice your weight, you're really strong. If you can bench 1.5 times your weight, you're really strong.
Well, that's all really strong.
Those numbers are the ones I know. But
no, I'm talking about, like, you should bare minimum. Like, if you're so weak, if you're a 130 pound, or 180 pound man, and you can't squat 95 pounds, you have a strength issue, dude. That's not healthy.
Well,
for
95, I could see
that's
that.
Okay, so that's where I'm getting at. We don't need to go so deep and say that, it doesn't matter and it's all about how you. That's so goddamn crunchy hippie, bro. Like, you can answer the question without being so.
Obviously, you didn't listen to what I said.
I did listen to what you said.
Like, if you can move well and do what you want to do, and you've got good mobility, good stability, you've got good ranges of motion, then you're fine. Then you're absolutely fine. Now, yeah, we could throw a number like, if you're 180 pounds, you can only squat 95. You're probably not strong enough.
Is what I think. That's what the poor kid here. I don't think he needs a life lesson right now on his level of awareness and we know that. We talk about this on the show all the time.
He's looking for percentages.
Yeah, get an idea. Like, hey, am I?
It's still arbitrary. So I'm kind of like, I'm with you on that perspective, Sal. As far as, like, it's relative. It's relative to what you want to accomplish, right? Like, if I feel like I want to have more strength and movement and support if I'm doing a sport, or if I just want to look better, and I want to build a little bit more lean muscle mass, it's a different conversation.
Yeah.
So it's all defined based off of what you create as your goal.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how do we come up with the number?
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing that I'm just saying that I think that we can give him more direction than just, hey, you're looking at it the wrong way. Like,
it's how I feel about, like, BMI. It's like, it's cool. It's like it's a standardized thing for, like, physicians to kind of, like, assess, like, oh wow, well, you're kind of too heavy for your frame, but that doesn't work in all cases.
And I'll never forget,
especially for muscular people.
When I did jiu-jitsu, there was this guy that I rolled with all the time, and I remember I took him to the gym. Now, this guy on the mat felt so fucking strong. Like, he'd grab you and he'd have a grip and stability, and he just felt very, very strong. And then we go to the gym, and he was, by gym standards, weak. Like, the dude couldn't bench over 160 pounds. He could barely deadlift over 225. Like, he just wasn't strong in the gym. But when you grappled with the fucker, he felt like you were grabbing a piece of iron. And so it's hard. I mean, that's all I'm saying is, like, what numbers do you come up with? It's very difficult. I think the only standard should be, can you do all the things you want to do with good comfort, mobility, range of motion? Because we can throw numbers out there, but definitely there's extremes, right? Like, yeah, if you can't squat, your body weight, well, then you're probably weak. But it's a very, I mean, what numbers do you come up with?
Well, we can't give a specific number, but I think we can give more an answer than you're asking the wrong questions. I think that,
Well, okay, go. Do it.
No, it's collective. I'm trying to get with you guys to say, well, what, I think if I look at somebody, I would not use their body fat percentage as is it a decent amount or not of mass on them. I would use their strength as a way to measure, because I think that translates more into health and are they strong enough for their size and body type. I think you should be able to squat at least your body weight. You should be able to at least deadlift that, and you should be able to get pretty close to that bench press. And if you're not at least close to your body weight on all those things, you're abnormally fucking weak, and you should lift and you should get stronger.
Well, benching your own body weight might be a lot for a girl, especially. That could be pretty difficult.
Yeah. Okay. So for a female, you could say 60% of that or 80% of that. But I think between all three of us, our experience with training people, the thousands of people we've trained, I think we can give people a good idea of, hey, these are good markers that you should be at for just overall health and strength. Now, each person's going to be individual. If you have a jiu-jitsu goal and gripping and fucking strength and rolling is more important to you, well then who cares if you can't quite deadlift your 2 times your body weight, because that doesn't necessarily carry over into your sport or whatever the fuck it is you care about. But I just get the sense from this kid that he's asking a simpler question than getting deep into his relationship with his body. I mean, everybody needs work on that. We talk about that on the show all the time. Like, everybody you need to work on the relationship with food, your relationship with exercise, your relationship with your body.
So what you want to give is the minimums. You should minimum be able to do.
You want to marry it.
It's just the idea that, listen, man, if you are happy with your lean body mass, you're right. If you're happy with, that's all that matters. But for strength, I think somebody should be able to do those things. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I feel like I'm trying to help this kid out with the question he's asking, because I don't think he's asking it exactly what he wants.
I don't know. It's so relative. Like,
I don't know where to go with that.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to tell you this, dude, but your numbers they're very inaccurate too. Like, if you have a 75-year-old, 130-pound woman, she could be fit as hell. She's not going to squat 130 pounds all the way down. So that doesn't mean she's weak. Maybe she could do body weight squats with good stability and control. Well, she's strong. It's super relative and almost impossible to give any, real specific answer. That's why I said the question, it smells of the kind of stuff that we see in fitness where, people are comparing themselves to everybody else. They're like, hey, I feel really good, but am I strong?
Shoot out ratios, like just generics all over the place. And that's what we're
I agree with that. I mean, I know that's something that we all talk about a lot, is that we shouldn't be comparing ourselves. Those numbers are all arbitrary, because everyone's different, and everyone's going to have different goals and different size and different age. But I think as far as, Devin, if you asked this question a little bit better, I would have helped you out, bro. But I tried.
Be more specific.
I tried.
Come on, man.
You're just going to have to work on your fucking questions, bro. That's your answer.
Shit.
All right, next question is from Healthy, Happy, and Free. Do sugar detoxes really tame sugar cravings, or do they result in what Sal calls symptom eruptions?
I tell you what, I sure as shit want to go out and have some fucking donuts and cookies and ice cream after looking at her page.
Oh yeah, she's got a lot of.
Oh my goodness, it's like dessert central on there, man. I'm just gonna call you out on that one right now for sure.
So 2 things. First, detox. I don't like the word, because I know what she's talking about. She means like avoiding sugar completely for a while. So let's not use the word detox.
Today we're going to hammer everybody on how they ask questions.
Yeah, well, you had to be clear, because detoxifying your body.
We picked these questions. You're terrible at asking.
Sorry, everybody. This is happening.
Well, you got to be clear, because detoxifying yourself, the medical definition,
it's a bunch of bullshit.
But she means I'm avoiding sugar. Now, a symptom eruption is actually a term that I learned. I took a course with a physical therapist that used to work with me, and we learned about food relationships and stuff. It was a really interesting course. And when people feel like they can't do something, or they're being forced to restrict something, then they'll have what's called a symptom eruption. So if I'm, if for example, I say to myself, like, okay, that's it. I'm not going to eat bad food anymore. I can't eat bad food anymore. I just can't do it. My doctor said I can't do it. It'll build up inside of you to where you'll have these binges, which are symptom eruptions. So number one, make sure you when you talk to yourself about this kind of stuff, make sure you understand that you're choosing this. It's not something you can't do. You're choosing it. That'll help maybe mitigate any potential symptom eruption. Now, as far as avoiding sugar is concerned, sugar, and we just learned this yesterday. We interviewed Dr. Nicole Avino, which will air. I'm not sure if it's going to air before or after this episode, but she talked about how sugar releases dopamine in the brain, which by the way, all novel foods or new foods will do this, where you'll get a dopamine surge. But then when you eat that food again, you don't get that dopamine surge. Now sugar is different. Sugar will give you a dopamine surge each and every time you eat it, which is very similar to what happens with drugs. You do cocaine or you do other drugs, you get a dopamine surge every single time, and they think they strongly believe that this is one of the things that makes certain things addictive, is that you constantly get that driver, that neurochemical dopamine that keeps getting boosted. Well, when you eat lots of sugar and you get lots of dopamine, your dopamine receptors start to downregulate. And what that means is the receptors that dopamine attaches to start to close off because your brain is trying to balance itself out. It's got all this dopamine. It normally doesn't have all this dopamine, and your body's always trying to stay in a state of homeostasis. So it shuts off receptors so that you don't get this surge of dopamine feeling in the brain. So you have more dopamine, less receptors. Now you're balanced out. But what happens when you cut sugar now? Now you go down to normal levels of dopamine, but you also have less receptors for that dopamine. So you start to get withdrawal. So people will get withdrawal symptoms from cutting sugar out. Now, if you do this long enough, and it can take a week, it could take a month for some people, depending on how bad they are, dopamine receptors start to upregulate again. So then you go back into this normal state where your normal dopamine affects you the way it's supposed to. And when you go eat sugar, it becomes too sweet. And you'll actually find that you'll crave sugar less, especially processed sugar, where you'll eat fruit and it'll taste sweeter and give you kind of the effects of what processed sugar did before. So does avoiding sugar for a certain period of time reduce sugar cravings? Absolutely, definitely. If you go into it, though, thinking you can't eat sugar, it might do the opposite, because then you're going to feel like you're restricted and you have to eat it. Now, I know Adam experienced, you experienced this competing, right? You experienced this.
It was extremely fascinating for me. My whole life, I was not really a fruit eater, and I really had a hard time getting the vegetables I needed. And to be honest, it was just because vegetables tasted like nothing to me, and fruit was pretty close to tasting like nothing to me too. But I was also a major candy, ice cream, sugar eater my whole life. I was, even into adulthood and being a trainer. I always trained hard enough, moved enough that I could allow these things in my diet, and I wouldn't put on a bunch of weight. So my mentality was I wasn't concerned about it. And it really was crazy when I got into competing and I had to eat this really regimen diet for 8-12 weeks on. And obviously, Mike and Ike's were not a part of that. So things like that were out of my diet completely. And I went through that process. It was tough, but it didn't matter. For me, I was so competitive that I was driven. I was focused on the goal, which was to get on stage. So it was easy for me to say, okay, as much as I'm craving this, I can't because I'm competing. So I stayed dialed. And then I believe it was about 3 to 4 weeks for me the first time to get to the point where I actually didn't even want it anymore. And that's when I started to notice, whoa, like a strawberry all of a sudden was like this explosion of flavor in my mouth that I'd never experienced before, ever, my entire life. I'd never tasted an apple, a banana, a strawberry, blueberries, and vegetables now. And now my body actually craves those things. I enjoy the hell out of them. And if I have candy, which is very, very rare that I'll even indulge in something like that, and it's not because I'm like, oh, I can't have that. It's more like, that's too much. Like something that I was a kid, I could go to a movie theater and I'd get like 3 boxes of candy and I'd drill fucking 3 boxes of candy through a movie. No problem. Where now, if I indulge in something like that, I can't even finish a single box.
Yeah,
of it
half
because,
a box isn't.
Yeah, it's just it's overload. It'll actually start to upset my stomach, and it doesn't even taste as good anymore. Where I crave fruit, I crave vegetables. So if you're going to, like Sal said, I'm not a fan of the word detox. If you're going to do this, restrict from sugar, you've got to break through that. And that's going to be different for everybody. Some people, like he said, I know I've had some clients I can break it with just a fast. do a 24.
I was going to say fasting, man. That'll upregulate those receptors.
Yeah.
You have nothing.
Yeah, 24, 48-hour fast. And then when we reintroduce food, everything's all natural. So we get rid of all the processed fake bullshit, and we're eating all natural whole foods. And they're actually fine.
Which is really what a lot of these like detox protocols are.
Oh, that's all they really are.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Except they decide to throw in some kind of supplement in there to sell, so it becomes like a protocol.
Yeah, stupid.
Bunch of assholes.
Yeah, so 30 Days of Coaching is available at mindpumpmedia.com. We highly recommend everybody enroll. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. It's a fantastic resource of fitness information, all categorized for you. We cover every topic we think is important for fitness and health. Also, if you want to ask us a question that we answer on these episodes, like we just did, you go to Instagram. Our page is Mind Pump Media. Now, we all also have individual pages, and each one of them is a little different, and we deliver fitness information in different ways. My page is Mind Pump Sal, Adam is Mind Pump Adam, and Justin is Mind Pump Justin.
Thank you for listening to Mind Pump. If your goal is to build and shape your body, dramatically improve your health and energy, and maximize your overall performance, check out our discounted RGB Super Bundle at mindpumpmedia.com. The RGB Super Bundle includes MAPS Anabolic, MAPS Performance, and MAPS Aesthetic. 9 months of phased expert exercise programming designed by Sal, Adam, and Justin to systematically transform the way your body looks, feels, and performs. With detailed workout blueprints and over 200 videos, the RGB Super Bundle is like having Sal, Adam, and Justin as your own personal trainers, but at a fraction of the price. The RGB Super Bundle has a full 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can get it now plus other valuable free resources at mindpumpmedia.com. If you enjoy this show, please share the love by leaving us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes and by introducing Mind Pump to your friends and family. We thank you for your support, and until next time, this is Mind Pump.